everybody. Sorry about being a little bit late. My internet was like, nope, right there at the last second. So, welcome to another episode of Breaking the Block. And I will have Miss Miranda, aka Rita, introduce herself.
I'm Miranda, also known as Rita. When I just go to other people's prints, I write young adult, urban fantasy, because of witches and elementals. And hello, Mama Maggie. And this will be my year that I hope to be published.
Nice. Yes.
But I said that last year too, so who knows?
She's going to be it.
Hey, working toward publishing means that you're a real writer, and you are a writer, and you belong published, even if you don't have the print book to hold.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, lovelies. Mama Maggie Ward, independent author, stroke survivor. I have a new kitty mug. Goes with kitty in my lap. And I have books out, including How to Become a Crazy Cat Lady to Survive the Zompocalypse. I apologize for my voice. I'm recovering from catching COVID the day after Christmas. Yay!
Ooh.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. All right.
And
For those of you, go ahead.
I also have books that I am publishing this year and republishing, and you can find the links for the things I've published and the pre-sale links in my Amazon page.
Oh, gosh. You're fine. Maggie and Rita's links should be in the description box. If they are not, then I will rectify that. But here is Mama Maggie's books, and link to that. And we have, where am I at? Okay. There we go. Nope. Okay. I will get Rita's links here in a minute. Because, yeah, everything is like breaking on me. All of my links that I have saved into Notion are either halfway cut off or they're no longer there. So I'm having to redo like my Notion pages. I don't know what happened. So bear with me.
I need to remake all of my link page for 2025 because everybody's got so much going on. And we have the AuthorTuber BookTuber under 1,000K subs marathon that starts not this week, but next week. And we're going to be going through a whole week of writing and sprinting, and I've got my streams up. Rita's got streams up. Sam's got streams up. There's a dozen of us who have streams every day. We're going to be going. We've got streams in Europe. I think we have some New Zealander streams, some Kiwi streams, and we're just going to be, sharing with everybody. But this is going to be a really fun, just kind of casual productivity. We're going to have light productivity. We're going to have reading sprints. We're going to have like heavy productivity with like, let's do 45 minutes to 90 minutes. Come on. So, yeah. It's going to be a fun time. Good morning, Rachel. Good morning, Dawn.
I've got Sucko with first and Dawn in second.
Look at my new cup. I am not a crazy cat lady. I am a devoted human slave.
Got right. Good morning. Welcome, everybody. All right. So let's go ahead get into our first question.
My mug is just a boring,
Okay.
but it matches my blanket on the other side.
I think that's
There you
pretty.
go. I got my villainesses. All right. So, since it is the new year, we are 5 days in though. It's the time of year for resolutions. What encouragement can you give to writers who feel like giving up for the new year?
That could have been me yesterday.
Oh no.
I did. I let out the cries. I looked over my chapter, looked through my notebook to see how much progress I have done last year and the previous year. And even though I started Witches of Solace when my daughter, who's going to be 25 soon, was about 10, and I have not given up, and I'm just keep moving forward. Take the break, cry, continue.
I would say give yourself some grace, because for all our lives, well, I know definitely for all my life, but we've all been fed that famous author myth. And I hate to say this, but it's literally become a myth. It has been crammed down our throat. And is there that 1 in 50 million that gets picked up that becomes the next big author? Yes, it is. But you have to understand that them getting this support is also part of a propaganda machine, I guess. It's part of the distraction. And because we all know that some of the books that have been the big books have just been horrendous. You know, there's part of them that appeals to people, and there's part of them that don't. So do not let yourself get caught up in that, oh, I want to be the next this author. No, you want to be the next you author. Your book, your world, your story, your words are what's important. And there is someone waiting for those words. So it's frustrating and it's hard. And I know that you feel like you just want to hit the delete key and just keep hitting the delete key. Don't do it. Don't do it. Someone in the world is waiting for your words. Don't give up.
So true.
I would definitely have to say the same. There were several years where I didn't write at all on my books. I didn't write anything new. I didn't even write in some RPGs and stuff like that. So even if you have to take a year or two, or if it's just weeks or months or whatever, take it, like they both said, take the break. It's fun. Don't ever give up. Even if you have to work on it 5 minutes every day or 5 minutes once a week, just keep at it. Let's see. Feline Overlord Cup. Cat Paw calls herself a cat butler. Cat Paw also says there's an article in The Guardian today about supporting authors and against Do It for Love. Check it out. I shared it on Facebook and we'll share it on Blue Sky too. Nice. Yeah. Someone in the world may be waiting for your words, but how do I get it to them? That's a marketing thing, and I am not an expert in that, by all means. Let's see, the series we are publishing were never meant to see the light of day. It's all hobby writing, but they're so good, and they need to see the light of day, right? Right. Yeah.
Honestly,
I
only started publishing because there are people who wanted who are old school like me and wanted print copies. So yeah.
Mhm. Dawn says, "Don't give up. You'll have bad days and you'll have good days. But if you love, stick it in there. Love it, stick it in there." Yes, definitely. Sorry, we're going to have lots of noise apparently because Connor joined us.
This sounds weird, but there is this thing about loving your job and loving the thing you do that really does make a difference in the quality of your life. Because if everything you do is not something that you do just for you, for your joy, you're going to be a very miserable and sad person, and you're going to die at a very young age. I'm just saying, if you don't put some of that love into the things you do and back into you, yeah, no.
Dawn says because she started because Rachel and her hubby convinced her. And let's see, Rach says people wanted it published, so here we are. Someone out there wants to read it, and you apparently love writing it. So just do it and enjoy it, and then they'll get to read it and enjoy it. Right. You will find the people who love your work as much as you do. And that in and of itself is well worth it.
Yeah.
And yes, another thing, it's an escape from the real world. And we all need that. Okay, and Cat Paw just shared the link. If I'm waiting on it to pop up here. Here we go. So there is the link to the Guardian article. Make sure to check that out. I am going to click on it and save it for later. Excuse me. And Rach says this may be a soapbox, but could people stop making reading into a competition? Yes. I mean, it seems to me like it's really taking the fun from it. Yeah. All these people, like I was just watching Emma just because of the whole, it's 250 years from Jane Austen's birth. So I'm doing like a whole reread and rewatch of her works. But I was just watching Emma, and you know, she has a list of 101 books because Jane Fairfax has a list of 100 books that she's going to read. So yeah, let's stop making it a competition.
I couldn't even imagine reading 100 books in like a year. Like I've been still reading one of my paperbacks for, I probably started it in November, but I've also read ebooks because they're quicker than the book that I'm reading in paperback.
I cranked. I had made a resolution to read 52 books this year, 1 book per week. Crash and burn. Yes, hi, I'm Maggie. I did manage to do catch up, and I got to 41. So,
nice.
So that's a book every like 10 days. 9 days. A book every 9 days. But yeah, no. But I'll be honest with you. There were some really short books in there, and I was listening to them at much faster speed than normal. So I'm probably going to have to go back and read them again because I didn't retain all of the book. Not that I would retain all of the books. Haha, brain damage. But yeah, no. It's this idea that we have to compete with everyone around us for everything, or we have and if we're not better than everyone around, it's really it's become almost a toxic trope. And we're not the only ones who do that, because it, like the Western culture, Europe has pretty much gotten out of that. They've pretty much like laissez-faire out of that mindset, and Americans finally in the latest 15 years have started getting out of that. The Asians are still struggling with it, but it's like, everyone gives Gen Alpha poop we'll use the word poop, for not being competitive, not being go-getters, not, just finding a slot and letting it ride. And actually, they're probably going to outlive many of us, because you have this dichotomy. You have the Gen Xers who literally have stopped giving an F back when we were teenagers. And then you have the Gen Alphas and Millennials who basically were just shoved into this competition mindset to the point that they had burnout before they reached 30. And the Gen Alphas saw their parents, their older siblings, in this constant struggle as things were declining, and they're just like, I'm not gonna put up. I just want to be happy and comfortable. That's all I want. And so it's really an interesting thing. And so whatever happens with this, the next generation that started on January 1st, evidently they've gone back and shortened the generation. It's again, I don't know why, but they keep changing. They keep shifting the generations now. And now they're saying that, like, the millennials are really mad right now because they've gone back. Instead of starting at 1985 to 1988, they're now wanting to start them at 1980s. And all the late Gen Xers are like, no, we're not millennials. And all the, yeah. And it's like, I remember when they announced the millennials, they were starting at 1990. And they just keep backing it up further and further. And all of us Gen Xers are like, excuse us, stop taking away our people.
Because those born in the early 90s are so different than born in like the late 60s and 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's no comparison.
It's very interesting because my generation was the generation in the 90s that were called the yuppies, the young urban professional. We were extremely competitive. We were trying to fulfill that. We were literally, it feels like we were the last generation that had a chance for the American dream. But the only way you could get it is to walk over everyone around you. And if you go back and you watch the movies from the late 80s and the early 90s, that's what it was. It was these very self-obsessed, self-important people who were just basically walking over the people around them to get to their success, and they were hurting those they loved, and they were hurting their friends. And it's this very toxic mindset that has gone on, the corporate ladder mindset. And it has pervaded all aspects of our lives. It's in our creative lives. It's in our school lives. It's everywhere. And we're finally to the point where people are seeing years ago they were seeing how toxic this was, but it's finally to the point where we have a generation of young people who have looked at their parents, at their grandparents, and they're like, I just want to do something I love.
Yep. Okay, let's see. Go back to the book reading thing. From experience, I know that it can be difficult juggling a full-time job and our writing, but when it gets really overwhelming, I just take a minute for a breath and dive back in. In this too, in Jane Austen's time, there was no TV or anything. There wasn't as many distractions. So 100 books probably was not, especially for those in her class. So yeah.
If you didn't have to spend hours a day preparing meals, doing laundry, cleaning your house, if you were a lady of leisure and wealth and had people for that, it's like, who's it? Thoreau went into Walden Woods and he was like, I just went in a cabin in the woods and wrote the Great American Novel. Dude, your mom was there. You had 2 maids. You had a cook. All you had to do was sit and write all day long and wander that's such a warped mindset.
This privileged mindset. Okay. Rach says, yeah, we both gone through time frames where we were working overtime, taking care of kids, and also the writing. The writing became an escape. Trying to keep it an escape and not chore is essential. I don't do those read so many in a year because I love reading to relax and chill, just like our writing. And if I do that, then I lose the enjoyment in it. Yep. Sorry about the toy noise. My elder millennial is so dang laid back. He's the opposite. He is reliable, and he's the opposite of that. Cat Paw is an early Gen X, and I often felt like a millennial, but yeah, I hear you. I grew up and wanted to be a yuppie, but on my terms and refusing to trample at others.
So that was the same cat.
Yeah. It's okay, Soccer.
Hi, Sako.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I was going to be here because it's like 15 degrees outside and it's snowing. It has been snowing since yesterday. The kids actually left to go home to the Navy on the East Coast early because we knew this storm was coming. And they literally left at noon and drove straight through to get ahead of this weather to make sure that they weren't going to be caught in it.
Yeah.
So everybody from Missouri and Arkansas all the way out to Virginia and Delaware and New York, please stay safe. This storm is not a joke.
Yep, it isn't. I think I saw a meme is like, what did Missouri do to tick off Mother Nature? Just because it has like, what is it, negative 15 degrees or something like that in that little spot right over Missouri. And it's like, yeah, holy cow.
I'm 30 degrees warmer than my sister today.
Oh, wow.
I'm in Colorado.
All right. So, this last comment, if it'll let me.
I'm worried about Florida because they are not prepared for the freezing temperatures coming their way.
And I say this with absolute love that no one in the South is prepared for winter. It's just because of our infrastructure. We don't have enough money to keep up the trucks and the salt and all that good stuff like other states who always get snow due. Anyway, okay. Saga says we had a storm the other day and it's been cold enough the snow won't melt. Oh wow. Rach says, Dawn says it's 61 right now and will be 78 in this afternoon. Rach says I think Mother Nature is rolling the dice now. Agreed. I think we're supposed to get rain all day here. So, yeah. And Dawn says everyone forgets to drive in it. Yeah. Or how to drive in it. Yeah, that's another thing, too. I used to call them the good old boys, and they would try to make donuts in the middle of a 4-lane highway. With people still driving on it. So, yeah. All right. What writing craft book would you recommend for new authors?
Save the Cat. I'm reading the Save the Cat Young Edition, and it's so good. Easy, makes you think. And then for other books, I'm not sure. I got a couple when I did creative writing classes 12 years ago, but I don't remember them. But I guess they were good since they were recommended for class.
Yeah.
And it's this one.
Imaginative writing. Okay.
And A Passion for Narrative. and that one as well. Those are the two that was suggested when
I'm
I
going to read that one.
I like
This
that.
one it's actually very short. It's very simple. It's for people who are like non-linear storytellers, but like when you're first creating the story and you're just kind of planting your garden. It's got a lot of good suggestions in it. He actually has a whole chapter devoted to the last chapter, which he talks about the importance of having a good last chapter and the difference between a series last chapter and a standalone last chapter. And of course, tarot for writers, because I'm a big advocate of all the creative writing tools. But something that I've been like delving into that I only have an ebook copy of, but I want a print copy of, is the Trope Thesaurus. And the reason is we all have this, the emotional thesaurus. If you can get the writers' thesauruses, all the different ones, definitely go through it. Another book for those who write horror or mystery or action adventure, there's a book that I have an e-copy of called Blood on the Page, 10 BS medical tropes that need to die now. And it's written by someone who's a doctor, and they say why these things don't work. Like if you get bashed in the head and are unconscious, most likely you're going to have like some kind of intracranial swelling or intracranial bleeding. You're not just going to be bashed in the head and then wake up a few minutes later and go like, but there's this fiction trope where people get knocked in the head and they're unconscious for a few minutes and then they wake up and they're fine. No. And like stab wounds, like someone stabs someone and they're not covered in arterial spray. Well, some of the mystery and horror writers are finally getting that, thanks to interest in forensic shows that started a couple decades ago, like Bones and stuff, and CSI and things like that, where you got introduced to blood spatter. But 10 BS medical tropes that need to die is a good one. The Plot Garden and the Trope Thesaurus. That way you can like look through and like find exactly which tropes you're going to use, because believe it or not, we all end up with so many more tropes in our books than we thought. Like I am a person who tries to limit myself to no more than 4 or 5 per book, and some of them are very down, only 2 or 3 are major and the rest are very downplayed. But going through the tropes of thesaurus and starting to read all these different kinds of tropes, I'm like, oh, I used that one and that one. And I've got like 20 tropes in my books.
Yep.
In each book, not just like the whole series. Just in each book.
Yeah. It's very easy to do. So I don't have the trope thesaurus, but I do have the emotion, the emotional wound, the positive trait, the negative trait, and the conflict. So I'm slowly gathering them all. They're real easy to find on Amazon, and I highly recommend, especially the emotional thesaurus, because when you're looking for a certain word or to explain an emotion, that book has helped out so much, because sometimes your brain just doesn't think of words, and it's okay. Another one that I want to recommend is The Anatomy of Prose by Sacha Black. I absolutely love this book. I like Sacha Black. I like how I just like how she talks and she explains things and everything. So yeah, highly recommend The Anatomy of Prose.
And a lot of people will recommend the hero's journey or the heroine's journey. And it's depending on the kind of a book that you're writing. It's a solo character journey versus a character who actually has a support system. Personally, I like the heroine's journey much more than the hero's journey. If you're looking for marketing books, Nia the Vixen of Fiction and S.D. Houston and a couple other authors are doing this series on marketing books. They're reading and then talking about different marketing books. which I'm a terrible person because I barely do my marketing. I barely look at my marketing. I need to win the lottery so I can pay someone to do my marketing. So please don't ask me about marketing. The only thing I could tell you about marketing your books or your author brand is the first thing you need to do is go onto every platform and secure your author name on that platform.
Yeah. I'm looking up the, is it self-publishing? No, market your book.
Self-publishing with Dale has a lot of good tips, a lot of good marketing info. Self-publishing with Andy, smaller channel, also has a lot of good tips and tricks on his channel. Running to write. Ben Pick.
Yeah.
He is part of Self-Publishing Tips and Tricks with Morgan and Shannon.
So Shannon actually has 2 playlists with the self-publishing tips and tricks because of the different seasons that they've done. So I'm just going to link her playlist in the chat here. And let's get caught up on the chat real quick. I want to save your question because it's a really good question. Let's see. Da-da-da-da-da. Dawn says, Writing Craft, there's a book for that. Becca Syme, she has several really good books too. Dear Writer, You Need to Quit was the first one. She has a small series on YouTube as well, the Dear Writer, You Need to Quit, blah, 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 on there. Dawn says we've just helped each other get better, her and Rach. Writing Into the Dark, especially for pantsers, or just writers who have hit a block. It's a good one. Getting an evil collaborative partner. Help each other get going and keep going. Use several of the dictionaries there specific to what you need. Yeah. And there is a kind of classic that helped my attitude, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers. I'm going to have to save that one. That looks like a good one. Okay. And Cat Paw says Joanna Penn has several I've read and like Becca Syme. The Secret Language of Feeling by C. Banyan is not aimed at writers, but I like it. Yeah. Trying to think of the one. I can't remember, but it was like a positivity mindset, and that is helping me a lot. So I'll try to find the book so I can actually share it. So Mama Maggie put this question up. What weather is your best to write in, the worst, and how do you get the words in the weather?
With me, I write. Writing is my habit, so I write every day. But I will be honest with you. In the spring and in the autumn, it's like, ooh, outside places. Go to the garden. And it's like, if I get outside on a nice day, I'm like in the garden all day. And it's like, oh yeah, I need to go back and get some words. I have words to do today, but the garden and the bees.
The weather doesn't really affect me. I do know if it's really cold in the winter, which it can be, and really windy up in my writing space, it's just too cold to write. Like I'm under a blanket and the hoodie sleeves go over here and I can't really type that well. That's when I just go downstairs and read. But I don't have a garden, so being outside, even in the summertime out here, it could be nice out. So you just like go outside more for walks. but it's just can be just as windy in the summertime than in the winter. Other than in the summer, it's windy.
Yeah. For me, it really depends more on the barometric pressure. Because usually if it's raining, I have a migraine or a severe headache. So raining is usually a good time for me to read instead of write. But even then, sometimes it doesn't really help. But I like writing in the spring and fall the most, just because the weather is usually kind of mild compared to the extremes of winter and summer. So yeah, this is the one that I was thinking of, the happiness advantage. This one helped my mindset out a lot, or it tries to help my mindset out a lot. I still have a lot of self-depreciation and things going on, and the imp gets me every now and then, but this does help. So yeah, highly recommend that one too. Let's see. Saka says, I love writing when it's storming, snow, or rain. Let's see.
I like to write in the winter too, but it's like usually as I'm inside, like, and if I don't have my laptop in my lap, I've got a notebook in my lap. And usually it's jockeying for position with the cats and chihuahuas.
Hey, Eva. Eva says snow is falling hard here. Rach suggests Jane Friedman too. See, Eva says, I wouldn't suggest writing a craft book. I suggest to read the genre you want to write more than often. And I'd advise to write and get constructive feedback more. Yeah. But the garden and the bees. Cat Paul likes gray and overcast. Eva says, if I'm already planning to write, the weather can romanticize it if it's a rainy day, but I don't change writing plans based on the weather. If it rains, chances are I'm mopping water. Oh no.
Yeah.
Rach says, I'm gonna. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I love. I end up writing a lot in the summer, but it's only because my brain can't handle the sunshine. After about 9 o'clock in the morning to about 6 or 7 at night in the summer here in Colorado, my brain cannot handle the brightness, and it works as a migraine trigger. So yeah, in the summer in Colorado, I turn into a vampire just because no matter how much I want to be out under the bluebird skies, my brain's like.
Yep. Understandable. So we have the opposite thing. My brain hates the rain and your brain hates the sun. We need to combine them.
My soul loves the sun. That's why my word for this year is apricity, the warmth of sunlight in the winter.
And I'm gothic enough to love the rain, but the rain doesn't love me. Let's see. Ray says, Equinox baby, love the mild temperatures, but I'm also comfortable and more mentally awake in the winter. I have bad summers. Yeah. Eva says that she gets the most efficient progress in spring, but her ovaries dictate more than the sun. Get that. Totally. Rach says, yeah, I don't have a specific season for writing, but I'm kind of just listening to my faves. I love rain. I love hearing it as I write. Does that count? Yes, it does. Very much so. All right. With school-age children, summer is a different beast. I understand that too. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. We've got time for one more. Okay. So, popular opinion time. No, not really. Do you believe in writing consistently, like every single day? Or do you believe in writing when you can? And which one are you?
a creature of having habits and set plans, and that's why. And OCD goal brain means that I'm going to do that. If I set the goal, I'm going to find a way to reach the goal, crawl toward the goal. And so that's why I'm always in some kind of a writing or editing challenge. Right now I'm doing the 85K 90, which is 85,000 words in 90 days. You're writing less than 1,000 words a day for 90 days. It is a good way to start a small writing habit so that you can get into this mindset of it is a time block that this amount of time is what I'm going to do, this amount of words. I like doing sprint counting, how many blocks of time I use versus I used to be a very big word count person, and then I shifted to being a sprint count person. But it's really easy, I think, to get distracted from writing and then look back and go, I haven't worked on anything for a week, a month, 6 months. And it's like, that's part of the thing is the world gets, you find yourself getting empty and you don't know why. And then you realize I haven't done any of the things I love for a week, for 2 weeks, for 6 weeks, for 6 months. And so life gets in the way. There's a lot of things on our priority list that get constantly shuffled. We're constantly shuffling those cards. All I can say is I have the advantage of always even, when the kids were in school and stuff, having a few hours a day to dedicate to this. And I understand that's not true for most people. But make time, at least once a week, make time to fill your own well. And if writing is how you fill your well, give yourself, Sky does this thing where she tells her family, I'm going to the desk. Do not bother me. So, yeah.
I try to write every day, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. Combination of I would love to say my kids distract me, but no, it's the husband. We were supposed to go to town today, which would be like an all-day event. No, it's too cold. So we're not going to be going until probably Wednesday, which is fine by me.
Right.
But I write when I can. And other than life gets in the way, I do have every day, which is nice. But sometimes you just don't feel like it, so I just don't push it.
Right. I would love to write every day, and at one point in time, well, in parts of the year I do, but most of the year it's whatever this brain can focus on, and that's what I do for the day. Sometimes it's writing, sometimes it's editing, sometimes it's social media, whatever. In other days it's a mix. So yeah, it's just whatever I feel like doing that day, that's what I do. Eva says my ADHD doesn't allow me consistently, yet habits aren't for me. I wish they could be. I'd get so much more done. Same. Cat Paw is a write when you can team. I don't want to write every day, says Eva. Rach says, I think we land in the when you can category, but I know it's like an addiction for me. If I do not get to write my characters in a certain time frame, I become unbearable to live with. Yeah, you keep talking to yourself. Or talking to your characters.
You've spent too much time away from your characters when you're asleep, and they're like...
Mm-hmm. You dream of them, what they're doing.
They show up in your dreams, and you're in your dream, and you're like, what are you doing here? They're like, you're ignoring me. I'm stalking you. You know what you did.
Yep. Yeah. Even says I need a boss that isn't a boss. Cat Paul says life happens, brain fog descends, chronic fatigue takes over, others have kids, overtime at work, etc., etc., etc. I find saying you have to write every day ableist, not saying anyone here does. Right. It's, yeah. Eva says, what's the point of writing every day? Finishing stories, making more money, publishing faster. I think it's up to the writer to decide their aim, where others are talking of their own goals. Yeah. Any rule about writing or disregards the individual's goals.
Writing every day means you get to the next story seed. Shiny! Shinies!
Or writing every day means that you can write on the story seed and then go back to the original project. Rick says this has been...
The problem with writing every day means eventually you have to start editing.
Formatting. It's formatting with me. I don't mind editing anymore. It's formatting.
Formatting sucks.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm hoping that Atticus relieves some of that pain whenever I get back to it. This has been me this past week. Sanius, Arkin, and Christian have been in my head at night this past week. Yeah.
Yeah, boys are stuck in you.
Yeah. I actually had a dream where one of my older characters that I haven't even written yet as part of my epic was in a story seed dream. Oh no, are you okay?
Oh, no. It's the cats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's just the cats are fighting over who gets to be in mom's lap. They unplugged my computer and my overhead lamp.
Oh wow.
Honestly. Go away. I don't love you.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, one of my older characters showed up in a new story dream. So I had to write down the dream and try to extract that old character from it. So yeah, that was interesting. Finished a draft in 4 days. A burst writer must finish fast. I hated it. So no. Yeah, I'm seeing that Circle of Doom over on YouTube every now and then, so I apologize.
We're under a solar storm, so yeah. And last night they had another X1 flare burst out, so yeah, we're going to have more internet issues for the next week because, yay, modern minimum.
Yay. So I've noticed that in this new house, the internet is worse than it was in the apartment. And that's the only thing I miss about the apartment other than the storage space that we had in the apartment, which is weird. But we had more storage space there. There are too many talking at once in the head. Yes.
Yeah, hubby and I are going to be watching football today and actually maybe moving the office into a larger room. Okay. So yeah, trying to figure out the internet situation is right now everything is huddled around our little internet router. Because once you get more than 30 feet from it, the internet gets sus.
We even have the router boosters or whatever you call them. I can't remember what you get called, but we have those in almost every room, and it still does this. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Love the internet. Love it. Not.
Our internet's usually pretty good considering that we live in the middle of nowhere.
See, Rachel's problem, this problem Rachel has right now is because, yeah. I want a she shed, Eva.
Right?
The wrong character takes over your mind, and then you're like, no, I don't want to have to write. I have to get this out so I can go back to the one that I need to work on. Which is why I'm publishing parallel series in Pagosa Cliffs right now.
Yep.
Cammy, I know. Oh, so here's how I know we're all screwed for 2025.
Oh no.
It started with WTF. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But it's WTF. That's how 2025 started. Earthquakes, volcanoes, flooding storms.
Yep.
A new pandemic plague is spreading all over Asia right now. Human pneumopulmonary virus.
Yep.
So yeah, yay for us. 2025 is starting exactly the same way 2020 started.
No, I don't want to go back to that.
Okay, here's the plan. Everyone get some sage. Burn some sage. Everywhere.
It's gotten to where I have gotten seeds for sage so that I can just.
I know, Cammy. I know.
Oh my goodness. Both my tarot and runes for the first and second were absolute crap fest about my yearly goals. Oh no. Look, I still have my Rose Apothecary mess. I will use it never out of style. Yeah. Buying 2025.
Dear Universe, I would like to cancel my trial subscription to 2025.
Yeah. We've got it. We've got it. It'll be okay. We just need to breathe. Dig out the old masks if it does happen. And we'll be okay. We'll be fine. So, yeah. Okay. Do we have anything else that we want to go over?
Eva, I'm sorry.
Oh, goodness.
No, I just wanted to know how everybody was doing for the weather and the writing. And hopefully everyone is inside and safe in the eastern side of the continent. That side of the Mississippi River.
We'll be fine over here. It's fine. All right. So y'all go ahead and do your outros and we will get out of here.
Go ahead, Rita.
I'm Miranda, also known as Rita. I write young adult urban fantasy, and I normally sprint Monday, tomorrow, and normally Saturdays. And you'll see me on different days and times during the marathon that's happening from January 12th to the 19th.
Hello, lovelies. Mama Maggie Ward, independent author, stroke survivor, migraine overcomer. I write lots of books. I will be publishing every month for the first half of the year because I am republishing the first 3 of my Pagosa Cliffs and Enemies series, and then I will be finishing up the series with the Windflowers, Winds Over Pagosa, and then at the end of the year I will be publishing Stars Over Pagosa to finish that series for the year. I'll also be finishing the Relic of Time series, 4 more books in that series, which will be coming out at different points in this year. And then once I get these massive series done, then I'll go back onto some of my smaller series. But I've already fingers crossed that I can get the 6 books in 6 months plan for my 2025 resolution out.
I believe in you. You got this. All right. So, speaking of marathon, I dropped the link in the chat for the marathon. It is starting right here on this channel at 7 a.m. Sunday, January 12th. And yeah, it's going to last until Sunday, January 19th. We have a lot of small author tubers and booktubers going to participate. So I highly recommend that you join us. Hit that little notification bell. Sorry, I thought he broke something. Hit that little notification bell on the streams that you want to watch so that you will not miss them. And yeah, thank y'all for joining us. We will see you probably not next Sunday because of the marathon, but after that. Bye.
Bye.